Hey guys, it is me, Tanya, founder of the TNG Designs Group Limited. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking about who is your brand competition. Your brand competition, that part. Yes, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of this because it's super important to know who these people are, right? So before you get stuck into this video, make sure you stick around to the very end, because as always, I've got a super cool gift to be able to share with you. And remember to like and subscribe to my channel as well, so you do not miss out on any videos that I go ahead and upload. So without further ado, folks, let's get stuck into this. So as I said, we're going to be talking about who is your brand competition. And as I said, it's super important to be able to understand this part, because how are you going to know how to make sure that you elevate and step up and stand out amongst your competition, right? Because that's what we're trying to do. As much as I've said before that, you know what, yes, you do need to make sure that you shine in your own light, or make sure that you stand out as you should be standing out. You also equally need to make sure that you are stepping up above your competition. So yes, maybe you might be able to work with them. However, you want to make sure that you're being seen as a go-to authoritative figure that you know you are, especially as a leader within the space that you're in. Think about that. And understanding who your competition is in the first place. What is your competition? Well, your competition are, in fact, the people who pretty much do the same kind of thing that you do. But as I said, there's going to be a few little nuances that you're going to do a little bit better, right? And you want to make sure that each and every one of your nuances are actually shouted about and learnt by your audience as well. And I want to share with you some really cool points as to make sure that you start picking out your competition in a best kind of a way that, as I said, is super congruent to who it is that you are as a brand. I'm not talking about picking any old random competition. No, I want you to be super specific on this and start looking to your competition as a source of inspiration. Now, you would have seen my other video talking about the idea of even where to find your brand inspiration, and I'll drop a little card right here, so you can go ahead and just literally click on that and to find out even more about how to find your inspiration for your brand, right? That aside, what I want to make sure that you understand about your competition are these 4 really cool and key points. That's right, there's 4 of them, in my opinion. So let's get stuck into it. So number 1 is understanding that, do you know what? You need to make sure that when you find your competition, when you find who these people are, you need to model them. Model them. Don't copycat them. Don't be a copycat with them, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Nobody likes it. So it's very rude and it's annoying. However, what I'm talking about is modeling them. Understand that with your competition, these people are actually people that you would actually technically admire, you know? Because you want to understand that, oh my gosh, I've seen where they can get to. I've seen to the levels that they're actually reaching out to, or who they're reaching out to, in fact. I would like to do something similar. So what can I use for myself to make sure that I also elevate, but within my own truth? That part. As I said before, we're not talking about modeling so that you're a copycat. We're talking about modeling so that you can elevate and use your own strategy that will help to boost the awareness of who you are. Think about that, folks. So number 2, understanding this point, right? Off the back of modeling your competition, you also need to make sure that what is it that's actually working for them that you don't like? Or maybe what is it that they're doing that you don't like? Because you can use that to your advantage, and here's why. When you get to understand what it is that they're doing for themselves that you don't like, you get to develop not a fight against it, but you get to develop a really cool argument as to why you don't believe in that. And what that does, it helps to create conversation with your audience, with an audience that actually resonates with who you are, and with an audience that actually really values your opinion. Think about that, folks. It's super key and important to be able to understand that, do you know what? My competition is doing something that I really don't like, and here's my reason why. Now, I'm not saying that you actually call out your competition. Some brands do that. I know Pepsi and Coca-Cola, they have a good old battle, right? With doing that kind of a thing. And a few other brands do it as well. I'm not saying that you do that, but what I am saying is you may phrase it in the sense where, do you know what, there are people out here who are believing that whatever that may be for yourself, right? But here's my opinion on it. I think X, Y, and Z. How can you rephrase it to suit you? How can you be a little controversial, but in a good way, in a valuable way, and in a way that your audience still resonates with who you are? Think about that part. Now, the third thing, and this is I've kind of been touching base on it a little bit throughout this video, but I really want you to understand this, and that's understanding who you are, firstly, versus who they are. Because when you understand who you are, you get to understand why you are the go-to person versus them, right? And you get to understand how to start talking to your audience in a way that matches their pains, matches their problems, and matches how it is that how it is that you can actually help them versus your competition. Think about that, because that is super important and super key to be able to understand that, do you know what? Yeah, I get what they do, but here's how I can actually help you. Here's what I found with that, the way how certain people might help you. They don't necessarily address certain things. They don't necessarily deep dive into what it is that, how you should actually be helped. They may only just touch base on the surface level, but I go below surface level and actually deal with the core problem. I deal with the core root. Think about what that could be for yourself, folks, and really deep dive with it. Go for it, right? I would say as well, as another little additional tip that I'm going to squeeze in here, make sure you pick at least 3 to 5 different competitions, because it gives you a general all-rounder, and it gives you a general idea as to what you do want to do versus what you don't want to do, right? So really think about that and use these competition people, the competitors, to your advantage. We're all out here doing similar things, but as I said to you before, what makes you you is what is deep down within your values, the root, the core of your brand messaging, the root or the core of your brand vision, and the root and core, again, as I said it before, your brand values. I could not stress to you enough how much I will always say to you, lead with your values, because you'll naturally sit right with all the decisions that you need to make when it comes to you and your brand. And equally, you'll know who to be able to reach out to because of your values. Things will naturally sit comfortable for you because you understood your values in the first place. So this fourth thing, and you're probably going to be thinking off the back of what I've just said to you about your competition, Tan, why am I now going to be doing this? Well, here's why. If you don't do this, it's going to limit your growth. And that's actually understanding how you can be a collaborator with your competition. So when you get to understand that, you start having this growth mentality that allows you to think beyond the box of what your brand is about. And you start being able to leverage off of wider communities. You start reaching out to an audience that actually still resonates with who you are, but it's a different, slightly little twist to your audience. And that's something that a lot of people don't really take to consider much, right? Understanding that when you start reaching out to your collaborators or your peers, and want to start working with your competition in that kind of a way, that's where the magic really happens. Because in my opinion, folks, there's enough food at this table to be able to all have something similar, but at the same time you all do have different approaches to it, right? That's what makes the difference, in my opinion. And when you have this growth mentality, you start going even further. One of the reasons why, as much as we all have different avenues, like working with the Queens in Business, the co-founders, that's why we work, because we all understand our areas for one. Yes, we do have different expertise. However, we get to appreciate them, right? We're all business owners in our own right, but we all come to the table with different kind of business strategies. And I think that's what makes it super cool. So think about how it could be for yourself. Even me in the TNG, under the TNG Designs Group Limited branch, right? When I get to understand who I actually want to reach out to, who I actually want to collaborate with, or who I just want to have a super cool interview or conversation with, those make for the more interesting conversations, and those make for the different approaches as to how I then tackle a project. And I think that's something that you all should be thinking about, especially when it comes to the likes of your competition, and understanding why your brand needs competition to be able to grow as well, but equally understanding who your competition is. It's super important to understand that part. There we go. And I'm going to leave it there, folks. So I really hope that this video really resonated with you. Make sure that you go ahead and like, subscribe to my channel. And as always, here's a really super cool guide that is here for you to be able to just take and understand how you can start elevating within the principles about branding for you and yourself and your business. So go ahead and click on the link that's in the description box below. And folks, I will see you on the other side.